Hi guys, very excited to be here tonight. This is a little different than something we've done in the past. It's less of like a do this training and more of a, hey, what if you thought like this training? So I think you guys are gonna like it. Couple of plugs real quick. I've noticed people are posting pictures of weight loss without legal disclaimers on them. Even if it's not a side-by-side, if you post a picture of yourself and it says, I lost 50 pounds, you are legally required to have a disclaimer on that. It is not just for, I'm going to say it, guys, shits and giggles. It is for your legal protection. So please make sure that you have those legal disclaimers on them. Please make sure your teams have those legal disclaimers on them. They don't need to be huge. In fact, they shouldn't be. Just keep them nice and simple in a corner of the picture. But if it says anything about weight loss, and definitely a side-by-side, you got to have that legal disclaimer on there. Better safe than sorry, right? Number two, stay tuned for Thursday. I have an extremely special speaker coming on in Team Lloyd to talk about convention. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, are you going to ever stop talking about that? So no, I'm not. That's number one. Number two, some people are likely going to be able to win some free registrations. So stay tuned for that. And I want you to hear from other people as to, well, why? Why should you be going? Why is this something that you want to make sure you are attending, right? So stay tuned for that. And I think that is all the housekeeping there. All right. So today we're going to talk about why entrepreneurship might be for you. And don't hear me incorrectly. I'm not saying you guys need to quit your jobs and pursue coaching full time, even if you are making $300 this month. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be responsible and take care of our families, but maybe you don't think about it as an option because no one's ever presented it to you as an option. So what if it was? So I'm just gonna stop right here. I'm gonna have Drew tell his story of entrepreneurship, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritties of all the things. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Someone's. Okay. Drew, you there?
I'm here. Awesome. My name is Drew, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. Not that I lost a bunch of weight, but a little bit of my background. So I'll take you back 3.5 years ago, and my life looked a little bit different than it does today. Actually, a lot different. So I worked 14 hours a day in the operating room. I was told when to show up, where to show up. I didn't have holidays off. I missed every single one of my kids' school functions. And when I had to tell them, their like disappointment on their face was like almost brought me to tears. I had to stay 30 minutes away from my house every weekend because I was on call. And if I didn't stay 30 minutes away, I wouldn't have a job. So we would most likely end up taking 2 separate cars if we wanted to go out. And we were basically just waiting for my phone to ring and say, hey, you've got to come in for surgery. So essentially, my time wasn't mine. My sleep wasn't mine. I didn't sleep well because I was afraid I'd miss a call. We were always just basically waiting, when's your phone going to ring? So pretty much everything was planned around my job. Doctor's visits, food shopping. I literally had to leave an entire full cart of groceries at the grocery store because I'm like, I got 30 minutes, I got to go. So, and at the end of the year, I even had to decide from December what my entire year was going to look like in terms of off days or vacations, because that was the requirement of the operating room. So I want you to understand that entrepreneurship is not about money and a specific number, but it's about options. It's about freedoms. So today, I am one of 2 dads that get to do carpool every single day with my kids. I attend all of my kids' functions instead of my kids coming back and saying, oh, did you watch mommy's video of us performing or whatever it is? I get to see the look on their faces of excitement when they look into the crowd and they're like, daddy's here, right? So number one is I make my schedule. I decide what my vacation days are now, and I have options, and I have those freedoms. So Ed Milet says, I'm a big fan of his. He says, you don't have the business that you hope for, you have the business that you fight for. Hope is great. Hope is actually wonderful, but hope rests in what somebody else can or can't do for you. I hope somebody else comes through for me. I hope that my team wins this game. It rests in something that is not in your control. This is for the vast majority of things that we hope for. Fight, on the other hand, is in your control. We are in control of the fight that we have. When it comes to our business, have you ever said things like, I hope my client signs up? I hope that things turn around soon. So many times, things in the back of our head, what we're really saying is, I hope I get lucky. I hope that things start to turn and fall my way. But at the end of the day, we have to look at ourselves and say, I'm not going to get the business that I hope for. I'm going to get the business that I fight for. So I want you to ask yourself, are you fighting for what it is that you want to create? And if not, I bet the reason why you aren't fighting is because either you don't know what you're fighting for, or you don't think what you're fighting for is possible. That's what I got.
Amazing. Yura says you were good. So obviously, but yeah, the truth is that I was there for that life, and we never were able to go anywhere or do much of anything because it was always, well, he was on call. And I remember saying, like, Mother's Day, Memorial Day, I'm like, can people just keep it together? Like, stop choking on things, stop getting things stuck in your body, stop having things fall apart. Like, can I just get a weekend? But, listen, it was good work. It was important work. He was saving people's lives for 10 years, but he's still doing that, right? So let's dive right into this. I have another person to share their story, and I want to help you understand why it is that someone offered you coaching, why it is that we ask you how much it would take for you to come home from your job, why it is that I ask you if you need time freedom, why it is that I ask you about your life, because maybe you could do better. Not that you don't have great, but hey, maybe you could do better, or maybe not you, but maybe there's someone in your life who needs this, right? So what were the 3 reasons why you became a coach? And what are the 3 reasons why you might encourage someone to become a coach? They always fall into one of these 3 categories, and you might, you've heard me say this before, overlap, or one becomes the next and then becomes all 3, right? So number 1 would be accountability. You can have accountability with a few clients though, okay? So you became a client to make sure you never gain your weight back, but you'll have that accountability even if you're coaching 3 people. And then another reason is that you want to help others. So you can fill that feel-good cup of helping others, again, with a few clients. But if your goal was when you first started, or now is, to make money, you will only make a significant income if you treat this like the business that it is. Because you might be saying this is a hobby or treating it like a hobby, but it is still a business. It's like calling an apple an orange. Like, you can say it's an orange all you want. It's still an apple. This is a business. This has the ability to take care of you for life. This has the ability to help you help yourself. You can treat it like a hobby. It's still a business. Now, if you want to make money doing this, we're going to have to start looking at it like that, even if it makes you uncomfortable, which I hope it doesn't, because money is a beautiful thing. You can do beautiful, beautiful things with it, right? So understand that hobby coaches, which is fine if you are one. Don't hear me like incorrectly on that. Like, if that is what you want from this, that is okay. But understand that hobby coaches will make hobby money while making a small impact, which is good. You helped a few people get healthy, and I'm sure they thank you profusely for it. Okay. A part-time coach will make part-time money while making a large impact. An entrepreneur coach will make huge money while making a massive impact. So keep in mind that every time we mention a dollar here, it always is equal to a life being significantly changed forever. All right. So signs that you would make a great entrepreneur, because you might not be like Drew and I, who are always like, what kind of business can we build? What kind of, I own a salon. I don't know if you guys even know that. Like, I built up a really great income with my salon since 2014, way before coaching, right? So some people are naturally inclined to do this, but maybe you don't think you are. But what if you have one of these things on the list, right? What if you could make a great entrepreneur? So maybe you're creative, competitive, and goal-oriented. That is a really great thing to have when you're wanting to run a business. What if you love to learn? You read books, you listen to podcasts, you love to Google to know more, you just love to educate yourself, right? You're a natural leader. maybe you're the oldest in your family. Maybe you were like, geo president or whatever. You manage your time well. You want to help people have a better life. You want to make an impact, leave a legacy, and control your own destiny. Did you know that not wanting to have a boss tell you when to come in, when to work, when to use the bathroom, when to use your phone, that is not just not wanting a boss. That is the signs that, hey, maybe you want to be in control. Maybe you want to decide when you go on vacation. Maybe you want to decide when you can make doctor's appointments. Do you know that I get my hair done, I get facials, I have all these different things I do, and I go in the middle of the day because the appointments are like open. Like no one else is there, Now maybe some of these things don't come naturally to you, but are you open to learning? And hey, you know what? You don't have to know how to do all the things. You don't have to be all the things to be able to, number one, learn, improve, get better. And some of the things, it might always be a struggle. You might always struggle with being organized. Still doesn't mean you can't build a business. All right. Now, what are the advantages of being an entrepreneur? Now, some of you might be experiencing some of them. So if you could please leave them in the chat. What advantage have you had by being a health coach? I'd love to see them. Let's blow the chat up, okay? But for me and for others that I've talked to, it's not having a boss. I am terrible at being told what to do, straight up. I had a boss for 10 years, resented every second of it, thought that was the only way, right? I don't have one anymore, and it is beautiful. You can be a role model to other people, not only to people on your team, not only to people in your life, but to your children. Like I have a brother who's like, you're just freaking awesome. Like I'm like he's like 17 and he's so excited, that like he has a CEO sister. You can be a role model to people. You can be a role model to people on your Facebook page. Like, who are you going to inspire to live a better life because you're doing it out loud and you took a chance? There's no salary cap. I don't know if anyone told you this. You can make anything your heart desires as long as your work ethic and your results match up. So no one's ever going to say, all right, you made 10K this month, you're done. I don't know if you ever listened to my podcast episode of the 25-cent raise that was the catalyst to me eventually wanting to quit my job. But like, that was what I got. Some years I got no raise. Some years I got a 15-cent raise. One year I got a 5-cent raise. And then this last year was a 25-cent raise. And I was like, can you just keep it? Like, I don't even want it. Thank you. And that was every year. And no matter how much work they put on me, no matter how much better I was, no matter how much more I learned, my income was capped. I had more time with family. I mean, that's self-explanatory. Time freedom, again, self-explanatory. I don't need to explain myself to people. I don't need to ask for permission to go places. I remember 2 really quick stories. One, the morning my grandmother died, I was told I had to come in to finish a project. So my father picked me up from work to go to the funeral. That happened. And then the morning that my water broke with my oldest, I called into my boss and I was like, hey, my water broke. I probably gonna be going to the hospital. So I guess I'll start maternity leave now. And she says, you sure you don't want to come in to take your mind off it? Yeah, I'm really happy I don't work for them anymore. And you can work from anywhere. So yesterday I worked from Marshall's and I did 2 health assessments on the way to Brooklyn for Drew's birthday party. Like, you literally can work from anywhere. So you're not stuck to any one place. Anyone has it in them to be an entrepreneur. So I don't care if you're not an 8 on the Enneagram. I don't care if you're an introvert. I don't care if you have never done this before. I don't care if you're shy. I don't care if you're not organized. I don't care if you have lots of stuff going on, lots of kids, other jobs, PTA, volunteer, I don't care. You can still do this, even if you don't know a lot of people. You've heard my story also. I started out with 145 friends on Facebook. Like, these are all things that are work outable. These are all things that you can learn to get better at. These are all things, they're not holding you back. They're just a challenge and we'll figure it out, right? It doesn't mean that you had to have been born with like a CEO hat on. No, it's something you can learn and get really good at. So when there is a will, there is a way. Now, Optavia is a risk-free venture, right? You are not opening up a business and hoping to sell a product, right? You are walking into a business that is a proven need. You know that for the rest of time, there will be obese people who need our help. For example, 75% of America is obese, and that number is growing, not decreasing. So they need us. This will never go away. There will never be a time, sadly, you know, I wish we could help everybody, but there will never be a time when everyone's like, well, we're good, you know, maybe Optavia coaches just start doing something else. That's never going to happen, right? You have mentorship. You have successful people leading you and guiding you. You don't need to and should not be doing any of this on your own. We are a team model for a reason. You don't have to go to some other location to train. No, the person who cares about you is training you. The person who already got to know you is training you, and they're going to help you train other people. So it's like, you don't even have to go to school for this. They're going to teach you all the things on the job, which is the best way to learn, hands-on, right? It's a proven business model. The system has been tested and perfected for 10 years, plus years. You don't need to invent anything. You don't need to recreate anything. You don't need to organize anything. You don't need to make your own graphics, forms, whatever, right? You just need to plug it yourself into the system and it will work. Now, the one thing that we can't control is how quickly will it work, right? So if you post on Facebook, we had a girl hit ED in 48 days, and we've had other people who it took 6 months. Well, that's okay. You know, depends on the time and the diligency and the sphere of influence and the consistency and all that, right? So you plug yourself in, it will work. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take. And then there is no cap. There is no limit to what you can achieve in this business. The more people you help, the more you help yourself. So what are some non-negotiables with, if you decide right now, you know what? I don't know when I'm going to be able to do this full time. I don't even know if I want to, but am I willing to give an hour every single day to putting my CEO hat on and saying, I am an entrepreneur. I am an Optavia coach. I am not doing this as a hobby. I'm going to do an hour every single day. Some of you might say, I'm going to do 3 hours every single day. Some of you might say, I'm going to do a half an hour in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, right? Like, I don't care what you put into it. The thing that matters is the consistency and following these non-negotiables. So if you are willing to grow, if you want to do the things, if you want to achieve the things, then these 5 things are ingrained in you. These are the rocks in your business. So number 1 is your health. Inspiring others with your weight loss or maintenance is key. Now, if you have a drink of vodka and whatever when you went to some tropical place and you had a slice of pizza, that does not mean your business is going to fail. It won't. Everybody's been there, done that. I'm talking about going down a path that you don't want to go on, going down a path where you've now gained back 20 pounds and you are not looking like the picture of health and your habits are not in congruency with what you're saying over here. You're doing other things over here, right? I'm talking about really being conflicted, really not living the Optavia healthy lifestyle. That's going to affect your business. And you don't want it to affect your business because the whole point that you became a coach in the first place was so that you would stay healthy. So dive back into the life book, become a client again, get back on 5 and 1, or talk to your coach, or commit to doing the life book for the rest of your life, or get on the Wednesday night client calls, or whatever you have to do. Go to therapy. Some people need, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no shame in getting help. It's okay, you know, but you want to stay healthy. This is important. This is really important, not just for you, but for your business. Branding. No one grows a significant size business without using social media consistently. And I know some of you just cringe and you're like, but Ray, but listen, okay, listen for a second. You are running through your sphere of influence right now. You post a couple times, you show a story every once in a while, and people are coming, but that is going to run out. And if you want to make a significant impact, you're going to need to start using the platforms where the people are. The people are not just randomly sitting around the grocery store or in your office. Like, they are on social media. The amount of time that people spend on social media is large, right? Let's let them see something inspirational. Let's let them see something that's going to change their life. They might need to see it 75 times before they say anything. I signed someone up yesterday who messaged me for the first time in 2017. I just waited for her, but I didn't just wait for her. I went out and found other people in the meantime, clearly, right? So branding, use the content calendar, don't overthink it, and make new friends. We have plenty of trainings on that, so I'm not going to go into that in more depth. Training. The more you know, the more confident you feel in your own capabilities and training coaches. I will say this. If you are not on these trainings every single week, besides, barring out like some real emergency, then are you a CEO? If it's okay if you're a hobby coach and you're like, well, I'm going to attend these when I can. Well, I mean, at your other job, do you tell your boss, like, listen, I know we have a Monday weekly meeting where we all meet and talk, but like, I have this other thing going on. And so like, we'll see. Or like, maybe I'll watch the recording, maybe I won't. Like, can you imagine saying that to you? Like, if I would have said that to my boss, or if Drew would have said that when it was time to like meet for OR meetings, like, bye, we'll find someone else, Well, you can't fire yourself, but you kind of are firing yourself when you don't do these trainings, because these are the only access you have to continuing education. The continuing education that you did or do in your other job, this is your continuing education, and it's free. It's amazing. I mean, from anybody, any of the speakers. I'm not saying because I'm giving over the information. I'm just teaching what I learned myself, Number 4, having growth and goals. Being honest with what you want, always looking toward your goals and working hard to keep growing every month to achieve them. Getting through disappointment is going to be your biggest power here, because people are going to say no to you. And I was talking to someone yesterday who said he was just disappointed with how his business was looking recently. And I said, the only reason why I've grown a bigger business than you is because I've been said no to more times than you have. You need to be said no to so many times so that you can get more yeses. If yours being said no to, there's 2 things to examine. 1, how's your health assessment? Ask your mentor to do one with you. Don't avoid. If your mentor says, hey, can I do a health assessment with you? They're just looking to help you. They're not looking to critique you. So that's the first thing to look at. The second thing to look at is, okay, well, if they said no, then a yes is coming along. I just have to keep going to find yes and be a good person. I know you're like, that's a business building activity. It is. We have a no drama policy in our business. I learned that from Doug Wood, who is running a multi-million dollar business, who I consider to be a good friend and very, very solid mentor of mine. And if he runs a no drama policy in his business, well, then I'm going to adopt to that, right? Don't talk about people behind their backs. Your mentors, your coaches, your clients, if you have something to say, think about it. Is it constructive? Does it need to be said? Am I just venting? Like we need to start using high emotional intelligence here, right? We don't want to disrespect the system. We don't want to take transfers. We don't want to play below the line. These things come back around, karma stuff, energy stuff, right? We want to run pure, drama-free, happy businesses, because then we will attract pure, drama-free, happy people, right? And that's how we're going to keep building. We're going to just give the goodness away, right? So let's keep this drama-free, and let's just be respectful to all people that we come in contact with. So things you'll want to get good at. 1 is working well with others, right? Maybe social adaptability is not something that comes naturally to you. Maybe you are shy. Maybe you're a little awkward. That's fine. We all have our things, right? Well, how can you get better at that? Can you hire a coach specifically for learning how to talk to humans? Maybe it's just getting around people, going to Starbucks, going to the library, being around humans so that you can start like smiling. Like there are parts of being a owner of a business that requires personality. Now, you don't have to be the loudest girl in the room or the loudest guy in the room, the most charismatic. I'm just saying just social skills is definitely a plus here, and something that we're all improving on. Helping people unwrap their why and intrinsic motivation. When someone tells me that they want to lose weight because they want to look skinny, the story doesn't stop there. I'm going to continue, and I'm not going to push and be obnoxious, but I'm going to say, okay, well, why is that important to you? It usually leads to them telling me that their mother put them on a diet in 2nd grade, right? And then the emotion comes out, and then the real story comes out, and then I know exactly why they want to lose weight. Same with coaching. If someone tells you they want to make $500 or just to help their mom, there's more than that. They just don't know it yet. And it's my job to help them understand that. Getting organized and structured, using your calendar, non-negotiable. Using alarms, non-negotiable. Just putting everything in one place, having all your contacts in one place. Just making sure that you're not flying by the seat of your pants, because if you fly by the seat of your pants, you're not going to want to do this because it's going to feel hard, and it's not meant to be hard. It can be busy sometimes. It can be challenging sometimes, but it shouldn't be hard. It should be fun. And the challenge should be part of the joy of like, oh my gosh, look what I just achieved, right? Being duplicable. If you're doing things that you tell your team to not do, or if you're not doing things that you tell your team to do, well, what do you think is going to happen? If you don't post on social media and brand yourself every single day, you cannot tell your teams to do it because you look two-faced, right? And we, of course, don't want that. If you take transfers and you tell your teams not to take transfers, if you don't buy fuelings from your coach and are making fake orders under yourself and you tell your teams not to, right? So we want to do things that are duplicable. We want to create that strong, above the line, honorable business. And in good things too. Like if you talk about your mentors behind their backs, well, being a good example and attracting good people, that's self-explanatory, and not letting naysayers stop you. You are going to come across people who think you're crazy, who you try, you leave your job and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. Or, oh my God, that's what you're losing weight with. Isn't that, that's okay. I'm not here to convince anybody unless they're willing to listen, but they're not going to stop me. That's for sure. Now, leaders are readers, right? So if you are a CEO of your business, if you are an entrepreneur, you are always striving to be better. You are always educating yourself. You are always learning new things. So 3 books that made a huge impact in my life. You might have heard me talk about these before. If you've already read them, message me for new suggestions. But if you haven't read anything yet, start with one of these. You Are a Badass at Making Money, Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and The Magic of Thinking Big. Honestly, reading them again wouldn't hurt you either. Okay, now I'm going to bring on Zelda, and then we're going to talk about action steps, so please don't leave. I know we're running a tiny bit over time, but the truth is maybe these trainings should just be 45 minutes. That's the honest truth. So this is Zelda working on a beach, because that's what entrepreneurs do. But I want her to tell her story in general, because she is a natural entrepreneur. Her life has been massively impacted by the ability to just do, even before Optavia. So Zelda, you there?
I don't know. What do I do something?
You just talk.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Okay, sorry. Hi, I'm Zelda. So I put a 1 in the chat if you ever got on a health assessment with a client, and the clients, you mentioned, you dribbled coaching. You said something, oh, you're going to be so happy. You're going to want to help other people, or I don't know, something. And the client deadpanned and just said, yeah, I'm going to coach. I'm curious if you had that, because I'm crazy like that. For those of you that have been lucky to meet me in person, I've always wanted to run my own business. My husband and I did build up our own business before we came into Optavia, but I was then looking to, build up my own. I don't know. I've done a lot of stuff. I can run through the list, but we don't have enough time. And some of the things that I love about this business, first of all, something I did not get anywhere else is the level of support. So not only have I bullied Ray and Drew into being friends with us, and we're stalkers and moved into their neighborhood, but on top of that, we're really lucky and blessed, whoever your coaches are, because really this group of people are amazing, and we get to hang out at conventions. We have 24/7 support on our business chat, our Facebook group, the team trainings, all of that. That's not something I ever had anywhere else. I remember, now I know I mentioned Asaf started a real estate company, but I decided I wanted to do my own thing. If you know me, that's normal. And I was going to do real estate. And so I show up, I get my license, I show up at the office, and they're like, okay, whichever desk is empty, you could sit at. You're now going to spend $1,000 on business cards and there's a lot of little fine print. And yeah, go out on your own. We're going to show you a couple things. We're so lucky we don't have that. So yeah, that's just a blur because we're so lucky. But one of the other things for me coming into this business was I really didn't have a choice. Like I said, my husband was an entrepreneur, and I don't like people telling me what to do. Ever. When I first started coaching, and like they'd pop into my chat and they tell me what to do, I'm like, who the heck are you people, and why are you telling me what to do? But I know they really, really care about us, so I get that now. But I don't like other people telling me what to do. So because of that, for me, there was no option other than to build my own business. And some of the things that I learned, I've tapped into Asaf I was like, what do I share? Like, he's like, from the heart. And I'm like, you're right. Okay, fine. But two of the things that he said that I'm going to share in his name was that one is that when you're an entrepreneur, you get to change the channel of your life. Click, click. Oh, this friend's not working out because they don't respect my boundaries and they have limiting beliefs in me. Okay, click. I want more time freedom. Okay, click. I want to make more money. Okay, click. We are only limited by what we surround ourselves with. A friend of mine just shared this with me today. She said how her and her husband were trying to figure out, they were going to do, they wanted to do construction and and he was like, well, we don't really have the budget for it. And she said, well, they run their own business. And she said, well, why don't we just make more money? And he's like, you know what? You're right. And then the next day, a major deal came through, and then they had the funds to do the construction. We can have the abundance we desire if we believe in ourselves and if we want it enough. There's nothing stopping any of us from being as successful as anybody on this team, as anybody in the community at large. You have to believe in yourself as an entrepreneur, because the freedoms that Ray spoke about and Drew spoke about, those all exist. We've heard it, we've said it, many people have, right? But it has to start from one place. It has to come from here. Sometimes I remind myself, because there are days that in coaching that you're like, might just have to shoot that client, but whatever. And there are days in coaching where you just have to remind yourself why I started coaching. I have to go into the Zelda that did her first health assessment. I have to go into the Zelda that signed up her first coach. That's the space I have to go. And I have to remember that Asaf and I built up our real estate business. 9 years ago we started. Yet don't get married and start building a business unless it's Optavia. Just saying. You might kill each other. But we started building a business 9 years ago. I will never quit building up my business, because this is a journey and this is a process. Remember what it was like to hit senior. Remember how excited you were to purchase your coaching kit. Remember how excited you were to lose 5-10 pounds or gain, if that's what you're doing, or to just feel good. And I would even write it down and I don't know, stick sticky notes all over your house if that's something you're comfortable doing. And just don't forget that. And the other thing, I'm really not an organized person. It's something I struggle with. I know you can't tell at all, but I crazy struggle with that. I don't know. My mom was really organized. I keep telling her she just needs to move in. But one of the things that I live by is my calendar. And everybody knows this. I'm if it's not in my calendar, it just didn't happen. It doesn't exist. So I put my coaching times in my calendar. I put every single activity. And then I look at my week and I'm like, okay. I even put some of my coffee dates in my calendar, because if it's going to happen, it has to be in the calendar. And the only thing I would leave you guys off with is just don't forget to believe in yourself, because every single one of you and everybody who's going to watch this later on, because I know all thousands of people are going to watch this because it's really helpful. I don't even remember what I was talking about, but just believe in yourself, because you're the best person for doing this, and people want to connect with you, and people need you. And just don't forget that. Good night.
Thank you. She said something and I wanted to comment, and that the 2 Enneagrams, she doesn't really mean she wants to shoot her clients. That was just a joke. She's a 7-8. It's not her fault. If you haven't done the Enneagram test yet, now's the time. All right, let's end off with action steps, and then I will share something with you if you stay on longer. So 3 things. 1, decide what you want from being a coach. Literally, what do you want this week? What do you want to happen next month? What do you want to achieve in 2020 by the middle of, by June? What do you want to happen by 2021? where do you want to be by 2022, right? Like decide right now. We're not leaving this up to chance. We're not saying, whatever happens, I want to help a few people. I want to help my mom. Like, no. No more helping your mom. Your mom doesn't want help. Other people want help. Go help the people. Okay, set up structure and rocks in your schedule. And like Zelda was saying, I just pulled up like a random day. Everything goes in the calendar. I mean, if you don't schedule to get your hair done, then you might accidentally schedule something else in. And that, you know, like, so if I know I'm dropping the dog off to get a grooming, that means I have 2 hours to call people. You know what I mean? So like, set up structure, set up rocks in your schedule, especially if you have stuff going on, especially if you have another job. That's exactly when you need to get structured and scheduled. And book convention. If you're having trouble booking convention because of money, can you please message me? If you don't know why you should be booking convention, can you please message me? If you're not booking it because of anything, can you please message me? I hope I don't get any messages because I'm hoping you're all just gonna go book. But if you're not booking for something, please. And I think I'm actually like, I don't know, like start rewarding people. Like if you have teams, bring them. Clients, bring them. I can't explain to you the power of being there. You need to experience it for yourself. There's nothing I can say or do that is going to help you understand what it's like to shake Dr. A's hand. There's nothing that I can do or say that is going to help you know what it feels like to be in community, to hang out with everyone. Like I wish I could give it to you on here, but I can't. So I need you to come with me to Atlanta. It's a hopping, amazing place. I'm very excited to go to Atlanta, but no, it's going to be incredible. Pack your dancing shoes. It's going to be amazing. So I'm going to stop the recording, and everyone who watches the recording and realizes that they weren't on training missed out on a story. So good night, guys.